to Decorating Pages. I am your host, Kim Wannop. Look at this. Another episode this week. Well, it is the first round voting of Oscars, and I am lucky enough to have had so many people talk about their work this season that, I had to make a double episode this week because I really did not want to leave this one out. I am talking to production designer Fiona Crombie and set decorator Alice Felton of Hamnet. And these two powerhouses have had so many, in fact, they're doubly nominated for the ADG Awards with the other film, Mickey 17, which we talk about a little bit. But Hamnet is just extraordinary, and they also have won many awards for their work on The Favorite, and I'm just such a fan of them. So this is a wonderful episode for me. I don't know about you, but I liked it. How about that? We are in the middle of award season, and I just want to, I know it's the second to last day of voting. You're going to get your ADG voting coming up, which is almost like a month long in February, which is crazy to me. But film-wise, you have episodes to listen to. Today's Hamnet Tron, which was earlier this week. Train Dreams. I mean, the cinematographer just won Best Cinematography, the Critics' Choice Awards. Did you know that in the history of the Oscars, a lot of times the winner of cinematography is also the same winner as production design, meaning the same film? So that's something to think about. It's shot so beautifully, they complement each other so much, and they get recognized that way. Avatar, No Other Choice, Sinners, Hedda, Begonia, Fantastic Four, Kiss of the Spider Woman. I mean, there's so much to dive into if you are a voter and you want to listen to just a little bit more details about what you're voting for. Also, I have all of these on the YouTube channel so you can look at what we are talking about. And today's episode, I cannot tell you, and even Tron, I mean, you have to go and look at the presentations that they put up on the ADG website, which I think that they took down because of voting. I think now they only put up the nominees, which is a real bummer to me, but I love looking at them. I've said it a million times. But I also went in and went through their ADG package, and I have many of their behind the scenes of the builds and everything that they did on Hamnet. Please check that out. Check out their work there. All right. So what else am I talking about? I talked about a lot on Tuesday, so I don't have a lot. But I wanted to say I watched the movie Bad and the Beautiful, which I have been waiting for it to become free because I didn't want to buy it, which I'm glad because I didn't really like it, which it's such a staple of noir, I guess, that I feel like it is. 1952, starring Kirk Douglas and Lana Turner. And it's about Hollywood, which I think is so great, about this producer kind of brings in a actress and a writer and a director, and he's like, hey, look at what this guy did for you. Look at how he helped your career. Can you help him now? Type of thing. So it's all done on a lot of flashbacks. But it's supposed to be after Daryl Zanuck. I believe that was what it was. So it's an interesting movie. I wouldn't say it's one of my favorites, but it's beautifully done. And again, by Cedric Gibbons and Edwin Willis again. And I believe they won that year. I mean, I am plowing through the list that I made up, which is anywhere, of production design nominated films. And whenever I am looking for something to watch, I just refer to this list that I have, and then I check them all off after I would say I'm about halfway done. I'm not even kidding. I think I'm looking through it right now. I'm about halfway done watching all of these nominated films and winners. And so, yeah, The Bad and the Beautiful was won in 1952. So they also shared credit with Edward Carfatago and set decorator F. Co. Gleason. I think that's one of the few times he shared credit, to be honest. I think Cedric Gibbons took the rest for himself. But they won black and white that year. That year, Moulin Rouge won for color. And Cedric Gibbons and Edwin Willis were also nominated for The Merry Widow that year, which is a great movie. So I watched that. And then switching up a little bit into some comedy, because we need a little comedy with all of how the world is going right now. I did a little Blazing Saddles, which HBO, TCM, they are doing they have a lot of Mel Brooks's films on right now. I believe because at the end of the month, there's a documentary being released about Mel Brooks. And so they have Blazing Saddles, they have High Anxiety, they have Spaceballs, and a couple more on there. They don't have Young Frankenstein, which is what I really wanted to rewatch, but they didn't have it. Production designer Peter Woolley and set decorator Maury Hoffman. Blazing Saddles, 1974. It's such a laugh, that film. It's so ridiculous, and you could never make it now. Let's put it that way. But you know what we are making now? Movies and TV, and hopefully plentiful in Los Angeles this year. I'm always sort of thankful for time off. I got to be honest. As a mom, I'm very lucky, and I've been able to work, on and have this series and then go right into that one. So I'm been very lucky. And I've had a couple months off in the past, doing things here and there, but I've really had off. And I came to this realization in just this past week, because I usually feel, the responsibility to find work and a pressure, because I have a crew and I am, bringing in money to my family and healthcare. And so I constantly feel pressure when I'm not working to make every moment count because I'm not working. And so I kind of came to this realization that it's okay to enjoy it. It's okay to enjoy the time off and not working, and admit to myself that I really like being a mom too. I really like just being a mom and not being a set decorator all of the time, every moment of every year, of every working day, and sometimes weekends. So I don't know why it has just come to me that it's okay to enjoy this, to not beat myself up about the pressure of finding something. I know when I was younger that the lure of staying with a show and just stay there because it keeps going. I know that however it ended, I stayed at Bones too long. And one of the reasons was I felt like I have a responsibility to my crew, and this show's is going to keep going. And if I had stayed there any longer, I would have, you lose contacts, and I hardly knew anyone at that point. So you have to leave places, even if it's uncomfortable. But, I've had this pressure a long time, and I think a lot of decorators do. So it's just one thing that I came into my head this week, so I thought I'd share it. It also leads into a question and a conversation I had with these two guests, production designer Fiona Crombie and set decorator Alice Felton, because in my research of them, I don't know them, they are both mothers. And especially with Hamnet being such an emotional movie about motherhood and being a wife and children and loss, that I do ask them, do you have any tips for working moms in this industry or any industry? So we do get into that. And I thought it was just a good opportunity to kind of reach back and really, relate to everyone about we're all working in this business. A lot of us are working moms, and how does it affect us and how does it affect our work? And these two women are so incredible and seem so supportive. It makes you smile. So I'm so glad I got the opportunity to have that conversation with them. And so, yeah, pay attention for that. It's kind of near the end of the interview here. But yes, I am joined by Fiona Crombie and set decorator Alice Felton. And the details in this conversation about Hamnet are incredible. Again, you need to look at the YouTube video of this and see their behind the scenes of them building sets they didn't think they were going to have to build, and the detail that they got into and making these spaces real. It's just beautiful. And they're building Shakespeare's family home and in 9 weeks, and they're building leather shops, and the detail. And Alice is now a leather expert. It's awesome. But just even down to the gardening, the gardens that feel not just decorative or functional. They are part of their world. They're medicinal. They're wild, but they're useful. They're, the greens in this movie tell a lot, and the growth that they have on the buildings and everything. So again, try to check out the YouTube video of this, and it's a deep dive. So I hope that you enjoy. I have to start out with just saying what a fan I am of the duo of you two. I mean, 7 projects, 7 films, and I think I saw 5 or 6 commercials you guys did together. Are you sick of each other yet? I mean, it doesn't seem to be stopping you two. 2 films this year nominated. The ADGs. You have Mickey and you have Hamnet. I mean, you guys are unstoppable.
We just had a big fallout this morning, so we're not.
Breaking news.
Breaking news, it's over. No, we're not.
I mean, it must be nice to keep working with each other, because I know as a set decorator, sometimes you get out of sync and it's a bummer. It's a real bummer sometimes. So I'm glad to see that you guys keep working together.
I'm going to see what Fiona says. I've got an answer to you, but what do you?
What am I meant to answer?
Are you sick of us?
No, well, currently we're working together, so I wouldn't say anything.
No. Can't say anything because you're working together. You want her to come in tomorrow with some good options.
I feel very, very lucky to work with Alice. Very lucky. And I mean, I think the great thing about, we are, and I won't go into detail, but we are in quite a tricky situation at the moment with this job we're on. We're in different parts of the world, and we're, our contact with each other, and the process is actually being really challenged. And I think it's fine because we have such shorthand, we know each other so well. I mean, she can read my face. I'm a bit of an open book, it's sort of, so I think that it's because of that we're, there's a kind of a real economy to our practice now, I think, after so many projects.
That's so great. Alice, is it such a shorthand that it's almost too easy? Sometimes when I'm with a designer and I'm like, oh, he'll go for that, or she'll love that, and then I'm like, oh, what? What do you mean? Really?
I think what's kind of great, what I love about working with Fiona is she always she doesn't push in a kind of aggressive way, but we both do. We never settle. So we're always how can we just push a little bit more or make it a bit more, tell more of the story, or so I think it's never easy. Fiona doesn't pick easy. Right? Even Hamnet, which was amazing, was still a challenge. So and then even if someone makes it easy for us, we make it hard for ourselves because then we start making our like we tend to set ourselves little sets of rules for each of our spaces. So we'll all, like palette rules and character rules, and if we've seen something somewhere, not repeating it, or so yeah, we do, it's an amazing bond because we're friends. So that's, but we're professional, like we're both hardworking, and I think it's nice when you really care about a person when you're working with them.
Oh yeah. You have to have a good time.
Yeah.
You can't there's no asshole rule. Like I can't if
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't care what I'm at a point maybe in my career where yeah, I will choose not to pick and work with people with
Yeah.
I feel lucky about. Maybe when I'm starving I will have to work with them, but as a rule, I don't want to go to work and feel ugh, like you have to love the people you work with and your crew. And
Yeah.
hopefully the DP and the director and like the producers like but with the designer and decorator, it's such an intimate relationship and having different projects. I mean, with Mickey 17 and then to Hamnet, you guys have just done the galaxy of set decorating and design. I mean, it's an amazing year. Congratulations. And I'm so happy that like the both of them are being recognized in the design awards. So bravo to that. That's amazing.
We were so happy about Mickey because I'm so proud of the design and the set decoration, and so it was a real surprise, and it was really good news yesterday. It was really
Yeah.
nice. It's great to be recognized by the ADG.
Did you have any extra dressing from Mickey that you brought over to Hamnet that you could?
Yeah. Yeah. Just a few like some clad
Well, I
spaceship
think we
cladding.
only had like 3 wooden objects or something like that. We had a really almost an exclusive no wood policy. I think there was like one wooden box.
For the hammer. Yeah.
Yeah, but actually, and so yeah, that was actually one of the rules was
Yeah.
like
That
no wood.
that was a rule you made for yourself, or that was like implemented
For us,
Yeah.
that was our rule that we made for Mickey. Yeah, one of the many rules. Yeah.
And then you went completely wood for all of this. I mean, it's like
And we
it's
were
so much
missing
wood.
it.
You missed it.
It's only wood.
Good.
Yeah.
I absolutely love to dork out every year, and look at everybody's ADG presentations. I just think it's like the best thing for anyone who wants to get into this to like look at people's process, look at what we're perceiving as the progress of our work and showing our work and everything. And I love any sort of like behind the scenes stuff where I can see like, oh, it stopped there, and oh, they faked that, and so I'm always happy to look, and this, especially this time of year because everybody has their presentations up. So your challenges with these, was it timing? Because you built so much for this film. It's unbelievable. Was
Yeah,
timing really
it
crunched here?
yes, because the plan was not to build. I mean, we always knew we were
Oh,
going to build the globe. Yeah. No, Chloe really, because she's such a, she wanted a very authentic film, really grounded and like, yeah, for it to feel absolutely real and not remotely artificial in any way. She very much wanted to shoot on location. And I think she also had this idea that, and this came to fruition, to be honest, but her thought was that if everybody was away, and you have an away shoot and you're become this sort of community. And so the idea was that we would all be somewhere kind of private and intimate and, protected and make this film. And we could not find that house. And so the decision, it went back and forth, and it was a real like kind of, I was promising I can make it. I promise you, I will make it real. I will make it. I will do it. And and we eventually, it was like, yes, okay, great. And we had 9 weeks to build it. We designed it very quickly and efficiently because we'd been to so many amazing places. We had a very strong sense of what we needed it to be. And then we kind of got the best of both worlds because we started the film on location. And so that community absolutely, was established. And so there were, I can't remember how many weeks, like 3 or 4 weeks on location. And then we all came to the studio, and by that stage we had the house ready, and they moved into this house that we're looking at now, the Henley Street house, and we were there for ages, like 4 weeks or something, Alice, and then we moved out again for a little bit, and then came back, and so but by that stage we sort of had, I don't know, we had the vibe of the film was pretty established. Yeah.
So, Alice, for you though, for me, starting on location never helps me. So you did location work, and then had time to do the house? No.
I mean,
Okay.
we were like, Fiona and I were basically shipped overnight. So it was 3 minimum 4 hours journey between this and the location we were filming in. So we had to really cleverly like work out teams. So this was happening simultaneously to the location work. And then we'd have a calendar and map out, okay, so if you're in Hewlands, which is 4 hours from London, we have to, and Fiona would go, okay, but can you check this for me? And I'd say, can you check this for me? Because we couldn't both be in the same place at the same time. And luckily we'd spent so much time in prep together. So we really knew what we were doing, but we couldn't, it happened simultaneously. So when you say, it was really hard because we could we should be in this house every day going, checking progress.
The amount of design detail and then decorating detail is so phenomenal. I mean, down to like the posts, and like the ceiling heights for me is so beautiful. I think like the shot of like their dining room here, and like the ceiling height and the details on the walls, and then all of the dressing. I mean, it's a phenomenal amount of work to get this, and to go from we're going to find a location to this. Does this free you up as a designer? Like, did this?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But also, what was so great was we walked around, like, I don't know how many places, like with, Chloe and Lukash, our cinematographer. And, so we sort of really received a lot of information during the scouting. And so whether it was, I don't know, like I'm a bit like kind of like a bowerbird in a way, like I'm walking around like snapping just like a cornice or a piece of joinery or something that's happening on a post, or just little snippets, and then I was able to basically collate all of them, and all the things like the twisting stairs and the low, there's sort of funny little steps and things that happen that built in a sense of kind of, imperfection, history. I don't know, just the kind of thing that tells me that it's real, the things that are incidental or, that have happened over time, or there's been some kind of addition, so there's a sense of there being a layering in this house. And all of that was born of just walking around, seeing the real thing again, and then making it for our story, and pushing those things, like you're talking about the ceiling heights, and pushing the amount of doorways and apertures, and all of that was deliberately designed for, I want him to be trapped in a doorway at this point, or I want this feeling of, what is happening at the top of those stairs. And then, all those moments that we knew were coming in the film, we were able to really, I guess, tailor the house for those moments, so they had the sort of the emotional impact.
Is Kim, you noticed the low ceilings because Fiona designed that specifically like that to make him feel closed in. So it's great that you
and I think it's lower than the other. You can actually see here that there's one beam that is actually lower. So the whole thing was sort of slightly buckling on top of them.
But I think as someone who's looking at design when I'm watching a movie or film, I think a big giveaway a lot of times is staircases. I think it's like, oh, it went too high. Oh, they put a million frames on it. It looks ridiculous. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, and to me, I was like, well, this is a location. This is, they wouldn't build this. Like, they would have wanted, because you're blocking the view. You're blocking when someone comes down the stairs.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
to me, I'm like, oh, it's the location. This is great.
Yeah.
And then when I
No,
saw
but
you were
that's
doing it, I
the
was like,
thing.
oh wow, they built
Yeah,
that
yeah.
so
No,
great.
but you want it to have this little edge of imperfection, I think.
Yeah,
Always
yeah,
the little, it's like the objects that Alice brought in that have the little, I mean, you can see here in this table, there's like a chunk out of the table. Like the little
yeah,
nicks and imperfections are the things that tell you that this place existed before we picked them up,
yeah.
or we walked in there.
The other thing in this room we're looking in at the moment is we had a lot of conversations about invisible chairs, which Kim, you'll know, because at this time the chairs were actually really chunky.
Right.
And that's why we've used these cutout ones, because what we didn't want to do is, and it's the same in the kitchen, is have these massive chunky chairs blocking the views because there's such nice shots, long shots through the whole house. So we looked for period correct chairs, but actually that you could see through, or having stools. So
Stool.
the instead of the big, huge backs, they had like,
Yeah.
yeah, you can see this one at the side. You can see through it. You can see the light of the window. So we specifically chose things to keep views and being able to look through things.
How was your sourcing for this? Was this like just was I mean, I don't know. Do you have a plethora of this still hanging on over there? I don't know. Are you Facebook marketing this stuff? Like what's going on?
We're very lucky that we have amazing hire houses which have a huge amount of antiques, and but we also went to many antique markets,
Mm,
and we used antique shops and online antiques places, and we went to fabric fairs. We've dealt with a lot of fabric dealers, with old, like very worn and old embroidery, which we'd repurpose and sew together. Pretty much, I think you can see in there, everything was hand stitched, even all the mattresses,
oh my God.
everything everyone lay on. We had so many people hand stitching for us because, as you know, it's fine to do, but the minute you get the close up of Jacoby's head dying on a bed and
Yeah.
it's on a machine, that's the moment it's gone wrong. So we were like, once we started, we just everything was hand stitched. But I think in terms of sourcing, yeah, we're very lucky in the UK because we have a lot of antique markets and a lot of resources. So yeah, we would search like high and low, and we had a brilliant set decoration team who would kind of how so like four of us would go to the market, we'd split into sections, we would text each other what we found, and we'd come back with like truckloads.
Yeah. Um, what did you design the stencil on the wall, Fiona, or is that a thing that you found?
No, that was our graphic designer, Lisa Williams, did that, and it was inspired by was I went to at the very beginning of the process for me. I think the first thing I did after I had been offered the job was I met the locations manager, Lindsay Powell, and we went and looked at the real existing Shakespeare house.
Oh wow.
And in that house, and I'd never been before, and it's different to our house, but it was such a great, obviously it's so important. And one of the things was I have canvas, or it's not canvas, it's probably linen or something, panels on the walls of one room, and they're painted and decorated. And I'd never seen that before. And I spoke to one of the guides and I asked about it, and they said that it was something that you could do if you were a person of a bit of means. Like it was sort of like a decorative
Oh,
flourish, like you just and I remember thinking, this is really great, like to tell the story of this had been a successful family. Like they had,
right.
they'd been like a working family, but he was a successful glove maker, and things had gone badly. So there was a sort of a story of like, I don't know, like a remnant of the way that it had been for them. And like for Mary, who's a very proud woman, there's a decorative flourish in her home. And so that was kind of the impulse. And then I remember Malgosia really loving this idea of these, her dark characters against the dark walls, and it
Mm.
was, yeah. But yeah, that's where that came from. And I decided I thought it was better to paint it onto the walls, because if I put it on canvas, it might look, I don't know, confusing, because it's something I hadn't seen. You want to kind of not have people
Yeah.
look at it and think, oh, why are they in a tent?
No, no, it definitely. Well, I think I think I've found it interesting because I was like, is that painted on? Is it like stained in? Like, it's just such a beautiful detail to get some sort of like
Mhm.
pattern going on in the room, which I was going to ask too about because I did recognize the darkness of the rooms with candlelight. Was that like, hey, you got to give us one white wall over, you got to give us something to bounce off of? Like,
No, do you know what? In all honesty, Alice and I totally assumed there would be more candles because we had done quite a lot of candles in our time.
oh, yeah.
And so we were like, oh, yeah, there'll be and we actually we did make like different like
I
you
have
can talk about it,
one
Alice, but
picture
like
here.
yeah, so we created like different light fix fittings, I guess, for
Yeah.
candles.
Like the
Um,
sconces and
yeah, but then they actually like Chloe and Lukash both found candles really distracting, and so they kept putting them out.
oh,
Blocking them out.
Yeah.
never
Yeah,
mind. Never
we
mind our three wick candles.
sold them all to Wuthering Heights afterwards. So
Yeah,
There
yeah,
you
they
go.
bought the
like,
candles.
Next.
we'll see them with Jacob Elodie in next month.
Yeah, there you go. Moving our kid over.
Yeah.
I had read somewhere that you have like even the herbs are period appropriate and that level of detail of research in this part, were you shooting where this happened? I don't know. I'm not familiar with the geography
No,
of where you were. No. Okay. And so how, I mean the I have it in here so like the growth and the greens are so important in her world and like this like as you said making things look lived in and everything. How, what were discussions about that of like this sort of English garden looking or this, how are we going to do this and make it look real?
well, we made all of our gardens, so they were all, even at the farm, that's all, and even in the forest, actually, we did greens work and put in, the ferns and lots of plants in the forest. But I mean, Alice was actually the one that was like vigilant about the fact that we had to be careful, not just with obviously period correct and plants, but also that the plants, your word was leggy, like, that they are all a bit like
Yeah.
older and like and that they're just yeah like there wasn't something they basically didn't come from the garden center like we just
Yeah.
kept like so we were all pulling things from our gardens and bringing in and like going around and foraging and sort of building the gardens even at in areas of the farm like people found things and brought them into the gardens and so um yeah, that there's a kind of like a wild beauty, but also for me with this garden that we're looking at now, that is obviously that's the set build garden, and that it had to have a practical, it's not an aesthetic thing. This is not a decorative garden. This is a useful garden, and so that quality was very important. And yeah, and it's only in the end when she has her beautiful knot garden that it feels like it's even then it's full of medicinal herbs, but it's more decorative.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, she does spend some time outside in those woods. I'll get to that, but
Yeah.
your painters and the aging of interiors and exteriors is fantastic. I mean, I really just thought you guys had a lot of locations here. So bravo to your paint department and aging and furniture aging and all of that. They did such a phenomenal job.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah. Um, go back one second. When you said I'm gonna build, well, let's build it instead, did you get more money? Or
Do you
were
know
they
what
like,
it was?
well, we only have
So,
this?
do you know what it was we found this location and it was outside of London. So therefore we know what that means. That means you're overnighting, you're worrying about people's petrol. And then there was all this stuff like it was quite a good location that we could work in, but there was road closure problems. And there were all these sort of things that made it complicated. Plus we had to do actual work there. And I remember saying to our supervising art director, Tim Blake, I did a very simple little drawing of a cluster of rooms, and I said, "Can you give me a ballpark on this?" And what I was interested in was like will it cost the same?
Right.
Like, is it the same if you're going to overnight people for that length of time?
Right.
Plus the other parts of the film that we knew were going to be location. Um, anyway, it kind of worked itself out. And so it became, and then it was like a flurry of phone calls and, like producers ringing and all these people ringing and, Chloe needing to be convinced. And yeah, it was just it made more, it's that thing about like, we all want to put the money on the screen, and
Yeah.
that's what building this set did. And it gave us the opportunity to tailor and like create something specific for our film.
Yeah.
It's so hard in these locations when like Alice and I always talk about the fact that, you have to negotiate to move a nail, let alone put a
Oh
nail
yeah.
in.
I
Like
do.
the negotiation is so painstaking, and it to have the freedom to be able to just walk around and say, oh, let's put this here or
Yeah.
let's do that, and just dress the set the way you want
Or
to. I mean,
whoops, I don't like where that picture is. I can move it
yes,
because I already made that hole. Like, oh
yes.
yeah.
Yes, rather than talking to the art handler and getting
Yeah.
the person to get it out of the heat controlled room or whatever we had to do on the favorite. So I think yeah, it made sense.
I mean, I know we all run into this. It's ridiculous to really say like, oh, we can go into this house, we can't make any holes, we
Yeah.
can't remove this, and this, and you guys clean it all out and put it all back and blah blah blah, and Christmas is up and blah blah blah, and it's like, oh, so then we're gonna get more time, right? We're gonna get more prep time because now
Yeah.
all these no. And the whole like I think about it constantly of like I would be a gazillionaire if I could come up with some sort of system of hanging heavy artwork that didn't make holes. Like
Yeah.
how can I solve this problem for decorators? Because and then sometimes you hang stuff and you're like, this looks ridiculous because it's an existing hole. Like this is
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah, totally.
So stupid. Like
high on the window. But yeah, even with like in the really old houses, like command strips, we can't even attach something on even tape or anything on the wall. So
ugh.
it's just you have to have a flame has to be a certain depth away, and so there's a huge amount of
What
constraints.
about in Hamnet? So the first room that you see Will standing, and he's standing in the doorway, and he's in a room, a paneled room, but that is actually a box that's built within the room because there are drawings from the 1930s all over that room that
Oh my God.
suddenly became very protected. That, because we had conservators come and look at the house when we started working there, and they were very important, these drawings. So we had to negotiate
To protect them.
to build within the room, but also to do it in a way that there was enough airflow to protect. I mean, and you know what? I say this with the utmost respect because these are important, it's an
Oh yeah.
important, but at the same time, it was it's the conversation and negotiation, and it's fine. It was all good, but it was just like, you would never know that that's a box, that room. We used it for the window. We basically liked his
The
point of
this
view.
the I love this glove shop. This attic, was it an attic room?
And
No,
That's a
it was
build.
the first room. It's the tutor room when he first looks out and sees her at the
Oh,
farm.
I don't think I have
Yeah.
that, but I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Well, then it just becomes a discussion like, is it really worth shooting in
Yeah.
this room?
Yeah.
Is it
Yeah.
worth
Yeah.
it for us?
Yeah.
I mean, we all want to protect it and
Yeah.
protect the walls and protect the floors, and I get it. I respect furniture. I respect walls. But at a certain point, is it smart to really do all this for that? I don't know. So I guess it's everywhere. The level of detail in the glove workshop I loved. I loved I mean, that scene's a little rough, but when he's like mad at his kid and everything. But how were you in sourcing all of this? Like all his tools and all of
this was the one set, when you read a script and you think, I can't wait to do that. When I
yeah.
read our script, I couldn't wait to do this glove workshop. So it was a challenge because we were in Wales. And so I would meet with Lizzie Bravo, who's our action prop buyer, after work. So we'd be dressing all day at the farm. And then we'd have this little restaurant on the bridge where we'd sit and look at photos of like we use a lot of early reference paintings and illustrations, but then later reference because glove making hasn't really changed the art of it. So we'd look at how gloves were made, and there were certain elements that Chloe really wanted. Like you see the metal on the table.
Yeah.
When people talk about Chloe and they say, what does she has very few notes, but they're very concise. And one thing was she was like, I want to see metal in the glove workshop. And you go, okay. So we added zinc tops to, which again is an interpretation because they would have been, but maybe not in Shakespeare's time. But to not, she wanted a bit of reflection and it's something a bit dangerous, a bit harder than wood as well. So, but the collecting of the tools, we actually went to Paris, which was amazing because there was a brilliant antique tool collector there. And so we got a huge stock of beautiful tools and we worked with leather makers who made, now you can see on the table there that we got like shields made for the cutting knives. So they were all handmade. And then we had a lot of like gloves actually made in different processes. So each time we went into the glove workshop, the gloves would be, there was more scenes that were cut in there, but we'd put them at different levels, processes, stitching and binding. And
Wow.
then we saved from our leather workers, we saved like every scrap that they dropped. We were like, don't throw anything away. We have our own scraps on the floor. And it was amazing because it smelled of leather and it smelled. So when you went in there and we had little cards where you could choose your lace and choose your buttons. So that you could have gone in there as a customer and chosen the color of your glove, the button for your glove, the lace on your glove. And yeah, so we just, yeah, it was a really fun. And you can see the racks up there where the leather's hanging. So they were all working. They were like pulley systems and the chains that go across and the bars. So things could be hung.
You're an expert. You're an expert. The things we never knew we'd be experts on.
Exactly. The things we have to look into and then just forget.
Was this a location?
No, this is
No,
a build.
this is the build.
Part of the build, yeah.
This is part of the house. So the amazing thing about the house is it's there's this like artery hallway that goes down the house, and John, who works in here, whoever comes into the house, he would be able to see them because there's two windows in the side. And Lukash and Fiona, like Lukash does a shot where, and Fiona's idea was that he was like all seeing. He could see everything from, so even you can see a photo, but even from here you can see into the kitchen. So it's designed, the house is all, yeah.
There's sort of nowhere to hide for Will, really. Like, you know, from when he walks in and he's sort of,
So they lived in here, they worked in here, they washed it. There's a wash house in the garden, like all multi-generational family living in the house.
Oh man. We can't breathe. No wonder he got out of there.
Exactly.
The to put them in the attic, was that scripted? Was that a choice, a design choice?
No, that was actually from Maggie's book. So
that's it. That's real.
They get married and move into the A-frame attic, and that was something I remember in the book, it being about the fact that you really unnerved Agnes because she was sort of in midair, you know, that she wasn't on the ground. So yeah, that was where it came from. And then, you know, this space becomes, it's sort of, again, it morphs, you know, it becomes a space of like you know, newlyweds, and then it becomes a family's rooms, and then it becomes an empty space again, and a place where you really feel the loss of Hamnet.
Did walls remove, or did you not have walls remove?
Not here. No, we didn't. Here it was a window popped out, and we had in the actual house, we did design in like camera traps around the place, and I don't think he used one. Like, I think that we also did things like the little side rooms, you know, there's these little rooms that, you know, spaces off the main dining room, and that they became sort of camera positions. But he sort of, like, Lukash tended to work within the confines of the space, but we did design them in if he needed them.
Going into their personal spaces, Alice, was there specific character pieces that you Like we're like, I can't wait to put this in for Agnes, and I can't wait to show this in Will's, working space.
Yeah, I mean, they all had like little things. Like Will had a very specific cushion that was on his desk, and so if
Wait, I
he,
have that. I might have that.
you
Hmm.
might have it, that
I'm
he,
giving away the whole thing here.
oh,
I
here we
mean,
are.
I can't get through all this, but I mean, you guys, it's just so much great
Here
work.
we are. You're at Will's desk. Yeah. And like all of his little, and Paul was really involved in looking at the desk and where he worked. He wanted it to be quite simple, but he also wanted it to be scarred and marked and
Mm,
ink to be on it. And again, like the little scraps of paper, you would never use a whole sheet of paper unless you were committing. So if you're writing notes, you'd write on small scraps, which
mm.
is why there's lots of little pieces on his desk. And yeah, he wanted to be messy. Like he wanted his stuff to be kind of around him and that he's in a creative process. But yeah, there was lovely things like with Judith and Hamnet in this particular set where there was two beds and then one bed goes away and then they clear out like all those lovely details. And we didn't know when we were doing it, we were like, will you be able to see it? And our standby Lisa was amazing, she was so fastidious about making sure the timelines for each time the bed was there or it wasn't there or and so it was lovely doing like next to their bed, so their little collections of things they found in nature. And then yeah, this is the point when after Hamnet has died, so this is just Judith now, just Judith's bed, and the room has been moved around. And lots of people who've watched the film have noticed that
Oh,
the missing bed. And
I have twins, and I will say this, I will probably never watch this movie again.
yeah,
Yeah.
I
no,
probably won't. I her crying like
Mm.
pitted me. I couldn't move. I couldn't react. I was just sobbing because I get it. So
Mm.
the visual of losing the bed is
Yeah.
stunning. It's
yeah.
stunning to have to take a bed down. I can't imagine it.
Mm.
So when so you didn't shoot an order? Is that what I'm getting at? You didn't have to, you had to go put the bed in and out, in and out. That's a bummer. Yeah.
Did shoot in order. It's just like sometimes if you've been, because they'd go down to the kitchen and come back up to the attic. So
Right.
like, okay, is the bed out? Is the bed, and so Lisa would be checking that, and we'd be coming to do redresses at night. But I think I think we did have to go back to the attic for different
Mm.
points
Well,
and
there's a lot of time. Like
yeah.
you change out like the color. Like was there an intention to use the deep red?
Yes, yes. So this was a Chloe thing. We talked about and we had meetings about, fabric, um, and palette particularly, but there was, the red was tied to, the beginning of their life and her in particular, um, and then the shift to blue it's reflected in her costume as well. She goes into a
Yeah.
more purple. Um, and it's interesting because in the film, I really felt this. I really felt this jolt with this blue, and her purple dress at that point where she's sitting on the bed. But I mean, you can talk about it, Alice, but Chloe, she used to talk about the rose period and the blue period, in their lives. So it was very deliberate because
Mm,
also in our work, the palette is very tight, so there are not really color moments. They're very few, and so this was a big moment for us with the bed drapes.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it is such and you see how, in your dressing too, in the kitchen and through the garden and everything, and how the timing is passing for her. It's so
Mm.
sad. It's so
Yeah.
sad.
Because
Yeah.
the garden, like with the red drapes, the room felt quite warm and
Yeah.
happy place. And then that shift and change to the
Yeah.
color tone and that sort of browny color with the dipped blue bottoms. One of the theories of our drapes are because of the time, you didn't have huge lengths of fabric. So or often like the bottom would get dirty, so you'd cut it off and replace a section. So we never had a full length. There was always like a section at the bottom that would either been fixed or repaired, and again, hand stitched on. And this is the first film we worked on together that we had our own dyeing team and
Oh, fun.
fabric aging team. So we would find and it was like they were amazing artists. So we would find, so the cushion you see at the back of the bed there, that blue, that is an embroidered antique piece of fabric that we made into like a flat cushion. And then we dyed other pieces into that blue to that exact color
Wow.
from a really old. So it was amazing having this team of people because we could really get the palette absolutely concise instead
Oh,
of going through fabric shops and kind of
right.
fabric match. So we'd find again old fabric, but that could take a dye and it already had a life and it already had something in it, already had some age. We'd dye it and then we'd age it back again.
Yeah, and you could see it's like a linen blend or like a loose
Yeah.
weave that you have there. It's
You'd have to
great.
do lots of tests because you wouldn't know.
Yeah, because you could lose it. You could lose it in dyeing it, and then you're like, oh, whoopsie. I'm running out of time. Look at this big build you did. This is crazy. You did this whole town. I mean, that's it's this. I love the bulging of things too. Like nothing is straight. Like that's how it was. Like things just were not straight
What's
angled at the time.
amazing about that? So the house, the main house, is actually a cafe in real life.
Yeah.
Oh,
So we had to build that front facade to fit perfectly in and cover the fact that that's actually quite a busy and popular cafe.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And I mean, it's just such a big thing because nothing is straight. So like how to
right.
get it to fit was incredible. Yeah.
And that town, the people loved because they all lived there. They absolutely loved it, especially when the dirt went down and the ground cover.
With
Yeah,
all
the
the
dirt and everything.
flooding. Yeah.
Suddenly they were like, oh, it's like we've gone back in time. And they were still, a lot of them were still living in the houses. So they'd have to open the
Yeah.
door and go through the scenery back to there was a hairdresser's just down there. And
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's great. What a little like part of movie magic they had to live
yeah.
through.
And
That's
they'd kind of
awesome.
come down the ground cover and then open up and someone go and get their hair done, like while we were doing, while we were dressing.
I want to get to the theater because I know I'm running out of time here. So the Globe Theater, you couldn't just use the one they had right now. But also I mean, you got so much more freedom to with
Yeah.
camera. I mean, the back house, the dressing and the everything of the back house and being able probably to put in your specific backings and everything. I mean, that's a great freedom to have with this.
Yeah. And I mean, I think that generally it was, I'm so pleased we got to build this. I mean, because it meant that there's a sort of a continuity and like a visual continuum through the whole movie. It doesn't just jump into something ornate or sort of
Right.
overscale. So we built it, at the right scale for our film. And we used again like continued reclaimed timbers that we'd used in the houses. Um and then yeah, like you say, we were able to sort of bend what we understood about the actual architecture of the globe, but we sort of you know created our own version for exactly like the reason that you want him to be side of stage. In real life, he in the historical globe he would have been up at the top
Mm.
looking down at her in the audience, but we wanted it to be more immediate and for him to be able to see her from the side. So I mean, in reality, the fact that there's even scenic, backings just wouldn't have been there at that time. But for us, that was important. And so this was again, like just like all the sets are just like our own little, creative interpretation.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
The backing
so
is gorgeous. I mean,
yeah,
I hope, I hope you like cut out a snippet for yourself or something like, like
really, we have that. I have a piece here somewhere. So
see,
like,
yeah, well, yeah.
Chloe gave them to us.
Yeah. Chloe cut hearts out and gave them to everyone.
Yeah, I've done that
Yeah,
on show. We did that on Parks and Rec with the
right.
sunflower mural. Everyone got a piece, and I framed
Yeah,
it. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Oh, it's
yeah.
so nice. And I think Maggie O'Farrell might have some in her house. And I was sitting in front of a bit of it yesterday. So
Well, and I gave Chloe the void, like when we cut the door.
Oh,
Mm.
I gave her the Door of the Void.
Oh,
So
wow.
that was my little, rolled it up and gave it to her. Yeah.
Wow, I love it. I love
Yeah.
it. It's beautifully, beautifully painted. I'm assuming it's hand painted and
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're beautiful. Um, I have a picture here of how big it was and everything. It's gorgeous. The back of the house, I don't think gets enough love in the movie, so I was really glad to see your your shots here, and I was like, whoa, they did a lot there. I hope there were more scenes that maybe got cut because you did a lot. You did a lot back there, girlfriend.
They ran this like a theatre, so our standby props were dressed in costume, doing all the props at the side. So as they needed the lantern or the pewter goblets, and anything they needed was passed by them who were dressed up. So they
Yeah.
ran it like a theatre. And you can see there's a horse's head, which is actually from the Globe, which we imagine could have been
Oh,
used in Midsummer Night Dream. So we did a lot of
oh,
like Easter eggs of previous Shakespeare plays. So that
oh,
could have been Julius Caesar and then Rob, who was the main assistant on this, helped me with so much research and looked at like there's winches there, and we mixed. Maggie O'Farrell loved the oyster shells and the paint being mixed in that.
oh,
And it was
yeah.
taken from how Rembrandt mixed his paints, and so that's where Will would get ready, and he had his playbills and bits of writing. So yeah,
Oh
it
my God,
it
enormous,
was our
enormous.
last set, so we just carried on going.
Oh, the detail is amazing. Amazing. And the scenes back there are really fun too. Um, you also built like a little puppet theater, which is adorable. Did anybody get to take that home? Because that's a cutie.
No, that's an excellent question.
I think I mean, everything is focus has got all of it, but that's a sweet little thing that they could have.
Yeah. And fun to research, I'm sure, and build. Like that's fun. That's a fun little element. I have a lot of gardens here. Um, I am gonna let you guys. Let me just ask you this. Is this the location that you couldn't use, that you couldn't put anything on the walls?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, yeah. So you can see we had some nails that we could use here, like, and even the little spoon rack that was hung on an existing.
Yeah.
existing.
We were allowed to hang from the beams, but
But
yeah,
just on rope, like just using
yeah.
roping.
Oh, it's a yeah.
Yeah.
So
I
we made this like nice wrapping that you could add into.
yeah, I feel you. I hear you. His my oh, and then the did you scout this tree or would you just like how long did it find the tree? Was like
We found this by accident, and
wow.
the whole came about and became part of the story because we found this location. And
Wow.
then we added in roots and plants and moss and did all of the greens work around it and really created the nest. But
Hmm.
the hole is there.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And it became this like motif and a really important thematic device in the film, but just by a process of discovery and Chloe, all of us being open to what you can find and what has meaning, like, it was really a beautiful part of this process was keeping your eyes open and seeing where they take you. Yeah.
I think that's amazing because it gives so much mystery to her character
Yeah.
of like, is she really a witch? Well, what's going on here? Like, is she
Yeah.
really coming out of the ground? She's going over there to have the babies? Like,
Yeah.
what's going on? So that's amazing that and
And
that you all enhance like
yeah.
embrace that and made that a part like a character
Yeah. Yeah.
and even
Yeah.
sound because there's like echoing and
Mm.
everything. It's great. Um, thank you, ladies. I do have one last question because I read that you're both moms and you have two and you have three. What are their ages? Can I ask?
Well, I have 19 and 15.
1915.
And
Alice,
I've got a 17-year-old, a 15-year-old, and my youngest just turned 13, but he keeps
wow.
he's not
All teenage. You guys got five teenagers.
yeah. So I just turned into being a mum of all teenagers
Oh
before I
my
had a
God.
12-year-old. But he isn't, he's still the baby of the
Yeah.
family.
Do you have any tips for working moms in production? Because I before I had kids, I asked everyone, I don't understand. I don't understand how you do this. I'm here at 5, I leave at 7. I don't get it. I don't understand how we're going to do this. How do you do it? And it was like, You just do
How
it.
old are your babies? How old are your twins?
They just turned 7.
Okay. I
So
think someone said to me once, like, how do you do this? And I was like, you just take every day as it comes.
yeah.
Every day you don't know. But I think the best thing we can all do is support each other.
Yeah.
So keep supporting the other mums that are with us, and it's not just mums, it's people that have sick parents, or that everyone, like, giving each other grace for when something does happen, and understanding. And I think that, like, the reason I've managed to have my career was because of other people that did that for me. I didn't think any of the set decorators I worked with when I was an assistant would keep hiring me. And
Right.
not only did they keep hiring me, they were like, I would rather have you until 5 o'clock than someone else. So, or I'd rather have you for 3 days than someone else for 5. So just please come.
Yeah.
And so I try and do that for other people too.
Yeah. The support of other women, I think, is a huge
Yeah.
thing, and understanding of
Yeah.
all.
And we just have to keep lifting each other up and understanding. But I think as well, it helps if you have some family nearby or something, or a very understanding partner, husband, neighbor,
Yeah.
someone that you can go, oh, they're sick.
Yeah.
Build yourself, a village. Like, this film was made with
Yeah.
a village. And, like, I've been reflecting about, like, Fiona and I, and I'm like, we have our own little villages, in order to come to this village, we have to have our own little villages. And the thing I think gives us the strength to do this every day is my children and my family. Because,
Well, they were inspired. They inspired choices on the film.
yeah,
About family. How do you depict a family? How do you
yeah,
make them feel? How do you make spaces feel alive? Like, who makes their bed? No one in
Yeah.
my house.
yeah,
Other than
Yeah.
so why would they make their beds? So it was just looking. Yeah, it's real inspiration.
It's such a wonderful film, and as I said, like, tugged on my heartstrings till it broke, because I could totally empathize with every emotion this woman was having, and I was like, this is an amazing film. I think her performance is fantastic. Your sets are so amazing, and lend such character to their story. It's really incredible and really, really beautiful. Thank you so much for letting me dork out with you. Good luck. So if you watched Hamnet and you didn't pause at least once to look at some of the details put into this, go back, watch it again, pause. And like me, I thought a lot of it was locations, because they're so aged, so well done. I'm telling you, the ceilings threw me because they're so low. I really thought that they were a location. So bravo. The textiles that she talks about, which are in such crucial, painful scenes. But yes, the details are amazing in this period film, up for Oscar consideration. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. Again, check out the YouTube video, or just check out their work, check out their IGs, and see what they've got going. If you enjoyed this, please follow this episode and leave a quick review on Apple or Spotify to help other decorators and designers find this, because it will get reviewed and then come up on their stream as a suggestion, please. Also, if you want more, if you want a little more of me, I have started a subscription series on iTunes and Patreon, and there's extra episodes on there. So it's just a little subscription, but I promise it will be chock full of behind the scenes and extras that you, as a deep diver, will love. Check out YouTube, subscribe, and share, or whatever you gotta do. There you go. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you got an earful. I'm Kim Wannop for Decorating Pages.